This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
All right, it's here. The Joker movie. Love it or hate it, it's here. So strap in. I'm going to talk to my loonies. Sorry, Ray. My loonies. Anyway, Capes and Lunatics, episode 125. See, a big one.
Invincible by 5.
Yes, 125 starts right now. Hello and welcome. I gotta do that Joker dance. Anyway, welcome to the Big Joker Review. I am Phil, and it's just our normal crew tonight. Hiding in the shadows of Florida is...
Hey y'all, it is Lil Hellfire.
You know, she's gonna have thoughts on this movie. And another man with many thoughts, right from New Jersey.
A real gotham. Not in New Jersey, in the end. Tony, what this happened? Not a costume.
Both of you get on mic. You just went low all of a sudden.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay?
I'm on mic as much as I can be, Philip. I don't want to eat the mic like you do.
It's good. It's fiber. All right.
Can you hear me
Yeah.
okay?
Unless it's just the music. But yeah. Yeah, so the Joker, I didn't see this anywhere in the movie, so I don't know where they get this from. But according to Wikipedia and I think one other article I saw, this was set in 1981.
Yeah, it's because of the garbage strike that happened in New York. And also Excalibur came out in 1981. And so that's where they got that from.
Well,
And it states it in the script too. So.
And I don't know that Zorro the Gay Blade came out in 1981. But
no, that was just a special showing.
It was a re-release.
It's Excalibur that they based that on in the garbage strike.
Yes, but
Zorro
the Gay Blade is the most important part of this film.
But I just don't understand if it's everywhere, like in the script and everything. Why don't they just flash it on the screen?
Because it dates it.
Because they redid the script a lot and they wanted to keep it ambiguously anachronistic or whatever.
Okay.
There you go.
And what are those credits look like? Old school credits too.
Well, yeah, they were. It was the 80s Warner Brothers logo that you start off with.
Oh, I love that, by the way.
And then they had very 80s, the like kind of credit stuff too.
Like the font, yeah.
Because pantomimes and silent movies kind of have a undercurrent in this movie as well.
Yeah, this is a real cinematic love story. I mean, really, this is.
If you like Scorsese.
No. I mean, okay, yeah, I get the Taxi Driver references. I don't think Taxi Driver is the whole of this film, though. In fact, what I'll tell you is the Taxi Driver aspects of this film are really the least interesting because Scorsese made that film already. So it's like, yeah, okay, I see. Hi, Mr. Bickle. It's nice to see you. Could we maybe actually tell a new story? Which they did. They did. Like I said, leaning too much into the Scorsese Taxi Driver aspect of it, well, it is an important storytelling motif. That is in no ways the only cinematic influence here.
Oh, not at all.
There is a lot of really great, really strong stuff here. From The Man Who Laughs, and I said this, I think everyone should see The Man Who Laughs. It's a really good film. It's an amazing film with Conrad Veidt by, I want to say the director was Pillin or something along those lines. But just an amazing silent film. A love story, a comedy, Not at all a monster movie, even though it stars a monster. But and I think that it parallels this story in the sense that that's what Joker wishes his story was. he wishes he was the man who laughs because he has similarities to him, but he also just is in no way the man who laughs. The man who laughs is actually a hero and a good man and a kind man, in the way that, the Gay Blade is a hero and a champion and a good man, and Joker will never be any of that. And if you want to know the moment Joker is not the wrong party in this, it's a very clear scene when he kills the Wayne Financial guy.
Yeah.
Okay. One of them runs away, and he goes after him, and he kills him, which is not what a good man does.
No, he would have let him go.
Well, and he kills him in cold. That's
Hey, Harvey.
Not for nothing. Hey, you can say what you want about Harvey Dent, but the man does have
a
moral code, and he actually abides by it. The Joker doesn't have a moral code. As he says, I'm not fighting for anything. And there's so much truth in that. He is not fighting for anything. He isn't starting the revolution. He just wants the world to have as bad a day as he has had. He wants everyone's week to be bad. And that is the difference between a hero and a villain. Is a hero says, I've had bad times, and I will use what I have learned to make the world better. A villain says, I have had bad times, and by gosh, you're going to have a bad time now too.
All right, Charlie, I want Lilith's take on this. All right, Lilith, tell me what you thought of this. The first live action R-rated Batman movie. Well, quote unquote Batman movie.
It's not a Batman movie.
I know. Well, we get Bruce Wayne as a child.
Bruce Wayne's origin.
That's okay. First, baby Bruce movie.
I guess
in
that universe,
I know what you mean. I'm very mad. Like I said, I read the script. I read several various incarnations of the script, and I think Joaquin Phoenix did an okay job. I don't think it is great as everybody says. I don't think it is as bad as the worst reviews that I've read. I think it's just somewhere in the middle. I think that it's a muddled message that Todd Phillips was struggling with, and he had literally no suit interference, so he can't even blame it on that. And I'm really actually kind of tired of these comedy directors trying to have a race for who's going to get the first dramatic Oscar. Obviously, it's going to be Jordan Peele, but whatever. I was I don't like The Hangover either, so or any of the other movies that he's directed, so it's kind of whatever.
To be fair, Jordan Peele is not really a comedy director.
No, I mean a comedy. He's done comedy before with Key and Peele and things like that.
A dramatic director,
and he also directed a couple of episodes of comedy shows too. Whatever.
And
technically, Get Out is a comedy horror, so whatever.
And when you're going for awards, isn't it like shooting fish in a barrel when you're painted as, oh, this is a movie about a man with mental illness? I know, but if they're looking for awards, is that how they're going to paint it?
He kind of looks like, you remember Laughing Raymond, the court jester? He kind of looks like the court jester when he did that.
Well, exactly. That was one of the strong ties to the Laughing Man. That the court jester, who is of course the real villain of The Man Who Laughs, does the fingers in the mouth to show the smile. So the smile.
The smile and the frown, which are the two classic things of those classic painted clown things, and the tragedy mask, the comedic and the tragedy mask or whatever.
Exactly.
John, it's about as exciting as Snyder needing to stab Superman with a spear. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And that's what I'll say. It's this was so much better directed than anything we've seen out of DC. Its story is so much less.
I wouldn't say directed, but I think the cinematography is amazing. I love the score. A lot of the technical stuff was great.
Mm-hmm. I think it has a strong story. I mean, I don't think you can argue that it doesn't have a strong story.
I think that it's very boring. I think 2/3 of this movie is super boring.
Well, I mean, I guess I I live with a social worker, so I'm very fascinated by mental disorders.
I did like the shout out to Deborah Kane from Batman Ultimate X of Evil. I thought that was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a nod to Kane,
Mhm.
but it was actually like a character that was a social worker in that story arc.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that
I
was
think
cool.
I think I like this movie better than Lilith, but I think this movie would have been better served if it hadn't been a Joker movie. If it was just about a man with mental illness, and they didn't try to make this like a
Yeah, this didn't need a Joker skin.
character.
I think the Joker skin does a detriment to the story, actually.
See, I'm going to vehemently disagree. I think the only saving grace to this is that it has a pop cultural cachet. I mean, because as I said, if you don't have that, it is literally it's really just Taxi Driver Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Which it's all the rage. Well, actually, it's more of a Fight Club kind of thing, honestly, like I said before.
Oh.
And, we've got a lot of that going on with, with Mr. Robot and a couple of other TV shows and movies that have been doing that thing, and Westworld's whole mind fracking its viewers and things like that.
Because of the whole Zazie Beetz thing, yeah.
Yes, her character's name was Sophie.
Although,
in case you weren't paying attention,
there was she was actually there for some of it, but like
some of it. But then he also has all these fantasy things.
Yeah,
too.
well, you said something about the Fight Club's thing, and then so once you said that, I kind of picked up on it because I was like, hey, wait a minute. A lot of the time she appears, her kid's not around. She doesn't. I mean, I guess they could have said, but like, there's no mention of a babysitter or anything. She doesn't even mention the kid.
Well, it is everybody runs wild. Didn't you see the hoodlums running wild at the beginning of the movie?
I know, but then just like the first, was that the first hallucination where she comes to his door and she's like, "Were you following me? Were you stalking me on my way to work?" "Oh, okay, I'll come see you at the comedy club." I was like, man, that conversation turned pretty quick.
Yeah, well, of course, because it didn't happen.
Oh yeah,
and I'm gonna tell you one thing. I mean, that the original thing in the elevator didn't happen either. Because you'll notice that all they're saying is the same thing over and over and over again, and it's all stuff that is in his mind. This building is horrible. This building is horrible. This building is horrible. And she does the blow my brains out thing, and he does that.
Nobody would laugh at that from a creep like him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
And not only that, like I don't think she actually did it. And when he does it later,
stranger, no one would laugh at that.
I mean, yeah, and one of my favorite things in this is that Alfred isn't there when he's at the opera, when Thomas Wayne is at the opera, because he wouldn't be, because this crazy person just met Bruce. It's like, no, you stay home, you watch Bruce. Also, I like that Alfred is a butler and not like a professional BA right now, so that's a good thing.
That we know of.
Okay, I was gonna say, was that supposed to be Alfred at the gate, or was that just?
Yeah, that's definitely Alfred.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I thought they name dropped him. I'm not sure. I've only seen it once.
I didn't think, because I thought
Thomas name dropped him. Or something.
Oh, I thought
it is Alfred.
Unless I missed it, I thought Thomas just said, "Oh, you're the guy who came to my house the other day."
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what Thomas said to Arthur.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that Arthur's mom's name is Penny, and Batman has a giant penny in his Batcave. So.
And that little Bruce Wayne slides down a pole, aka 66 Batman confirmed.
Wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just and it just goes to show you that Batman, in his own way, is just a big kid.
And also, little Bruce is a little off his rocker. Maybe they have him too doped up on a medication as well. I don't know. But that little that kid was like no emotion.
And Martha has almost no emotion too. Martha has no lines, which is sad.
Well, she was on there for 2 seconds. Well, I mean,
you gotta show the pearls.
Oh yeah, of course. The pearls have to break. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
To show that Thomas Wayne was a cheap jerk, didn't care about his family. This is why Charlie loves the movie, because Thomas Wayne is an absolute jerk. He has no benevolence to him whatsoever.
Well, no, as Charlie and I were saying before you jumped on here, you could look at it either way. It's like, was he a jerk? I mean, from Arthur's perspective, he was, but it's like, what did he do that made him a jerk?
He doesn't care about poor people. He latched onto the sensationalism. It doesn't matter. You can be a Giuliani, or you can go the other way.
I know, but I'm
He
just
chose to be a Giuliani.
run for mayor and change the system. We didn't see anything he did.
So supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
I make a point.
Yeah,
I
never get
object.
to talk.
I'm a white male. I demand my privilege. Actually, my thing is because I did watch a lot of spoiler reviews before I watched.
Oh,
And
come on, Charlie.
No, it's really useful because now I knew all the things that people focused on. I knew what to listen for, and I listened to the interview.
Cheat sheet.
Yeah, you need those, man. You need these in a modern cinematic world, man. You're going into the test unprepared. What are movies for enjoyment? No, this is for podcasting. Okay, I need to go in knowing what I'm seeing. Okay. There's the beat. There's a beat no one else caught, and the beat I caught that no one else caught is Thomas Wayne doesn't call poor people clowns. His actual quote, when you actually listen to the whole quote, because of course Arthur fades in and out, he only focuses on the clown aspect, is actually about specifically if you're going to go around killing people because someone else is rich, the people that have made something of themselves are going to think you're a clown. That there is a system that we have to defend to protect the city and to make things better.
Late stage capitalism. Okay.
I think
that's fine.
I think that's the whole thing. I think both sides, the rich and the poor, both saw each other through. They both didn't see the real person.
But I think my point
and they
is
didn't know the whole story, that it started off as him defending himself. They just kind of latched onto this sensational story. And it's the media's fault, because if you keep reading these headlines, it's like, what am I reading? The Onion here? Like, really?
Fake news.
I'm surprised they didn't have poor people trying to eat the rich or whatever.
But the truth is that that's because the reason why everyone sees the killer clown as a killer clown is because he was a killer clown.
No, hey,
because he actually chased down the ample American trader who, yes, was a jerk and a drunk and threw French fries at a lady and probably deserved everything he got. But the ensuing crime that justified the violent attack, he was running away from. Joker no longer had the right to stand his ground. He had stood his ground. He actually already shot the guy once. And he was running away. And had he let him run away and bleed out, when it all came out, they'd say, oh, these guys attacked you and you shot them. Then you would have been the subway hero. Mm-hmm. Then you would have been the idol of millions. Instead, he goes and he chases down this guy because it's not about being the idol of millions. It's about killing people. It's about making others feel pain the way he has felt pain. Which is why he is not Gwynplaine. He is not Gwynplaine. He is not the clown. He is not the man who laughs, even though they both suffered abuse that makes people think they're always laughing. Arthur is the jester. He is the one who is going to manipulate the world and kill the world for his own best interest. He is not a good man, and in no way does he come off as a good man. I think they did embrace that.
All I know is the scene in the bathroom when Thomas Wayne punches him in the face. I'm like, beginning a long tradition of Wayne's punching you in the face.
Well, you know what? And he kind of liked it. Yeah, because he only knew abuse. At least he was seen. And that's his thing. He just wants to be seen. If all you want to be is seen, then a punch in the face is as good as a hug.
Mm-hmm. Oh, before we get too far from it, we were talking about Zazie Beetz before. So did they leave that ambiguous? Like, did he kill her or no? Because he just left they showed him leaving the apartment, but they didn't show like him walking past her dead or alive either way.
No. Well, it's kind of like the psychiatrist at the end. Did he kill her? I mean, yeah, probably. Which also just shows the insane understaffing at these hospitals. Here is a convicted murderer.
Point. Yeah, that's a good
point. It's like, how understaffed are these people that there's not a guard right there to like.
Well, you also see Strange's nameplate on there, so he probably has something to do with that.
Oh.
Oh man.
Hugo Strange, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. See, I didn't catch. I don't read very good, so I missed a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, not for nothing.
But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that was a big theme that the city was cutting funding for everything.
Yeah,
That his
budget.
social worker even said that when she was like, "This is our last meeting." Yeah, they don't care about.
And you get no more medication.
Yeah.
So, see,
And thus hilarity ensues.
but the thing is, the medication wouldn't be through the city; it's actually through the state. So he actually would still be on. He would have still been on Medicaid for disability. So he would have still been getting his medication. That's all prescription. You don't get that over the counter. And he actually says, "I stopped taking my medication, not that I ran out of it." And we saw that he's almost out at the time when he's asking for more medication, which also could, honestly, not for nothing, just be, I forget what they call, but medication seek.
And again, I mean, any scene in this movie is seen through his eyes, so you don't know if that's what was said or if that's.
Well, there's cues when there is and there isn't, though.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just the reactions of people to him and how it's shot. So, I mean, if you pay attention, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very unreliable narrator, so.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the most interesting questions I have is whether or not people saw him shoot. What's his name? Robert De Niro.
Oh, Murray?
It was on.
Yeah.
It was on camera.
No, it was on camera.
You do see it through a third party perspective, outside of his own too, though. It's on the news.
No, what you see is the reporting on it, but you actually see not Mark Maron. You see Mark Maron start doing the next slash, which means cut the tape, because this is the thing. It's not a live show. It's taped.
It's just like the Johnny Carson show or David Letterman. Yeah. Taped at like 4 p.m. live, but it's not live at 11 o'clock at night.
Exactly, it's live before a studio audience, and it might be live, but even Saturday Night Live has a tape to it.
Well, now because of Nipplegate, but back then they didn't.
No, they
have they always had a delay? Because I don't think so.
When they say it's taped live, and that was because I listened for that, and they said, the Murray show is taped live, and they said tape, which means it is not a live show.
Yeah,
and it might. Yeah, they tape it and they put it out there. It also means that it is taped. There's going to be editing. There's going to be structuring. Saturday Night Live hasn't been actively live in like 20 years, or 30 years.
I wouldn't know. I've literally only seen like 3 episodes my whole life. So
what?
Saturday Night Live.
You heathen.
No,
I watched the web shorts. D in a Box. That's all I know.
There you go. Honestly, that's really all you.
And Sweaty Balls. Alec Baldwin, Sweaty Balls. And Church Baby. Yeah, there we go.
Satan?
Pumpkins, I hope.
No.
What?
Oh, David has pumpkins. Oh, I feel bad for you now, Willow.
Or what about what's his face? As the Chippendales dancer.
Oh, Chris Farley. I've seen those
Farley,
clips.
Yeah.
I've seen those clips.
With what's his name? Patrick Swayze. Swayze.
Rest both their souls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Patrick Swayze's dead now too.
Since 2012.
I don't know. I don't know when people die, though. I assume everyone's alive forever, just like me.
It's the 2010.
Just like Betty White. Anyway, back to this movie.
All right.
My rule.
Well,
how did you feel? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you feel about his mental illness, like the what is it, the pseudo-bulbar effect? And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
But like, I like that it wasn't actually laughing that Joaquin Phoenix was doing; it was actually crying.
Well, yeah, it's your polyathlete who cries. But again, this ties into The Man Who Laughs. It's a thing that is misinterpreted by others to be laughter. And actually, one of the things I noticed is that he has that laminated card, and please give this back, and he gives it to the lady at the start of the thing. She doesn't give it back.
I know. What a jerk.
Wait, what on the?
See him.
The lady. It's on the bus with the kid.
No, I thought on the bus she gave it back.
No, she did not.
No, she didn't. She just turned around.
Oh.
Yeah. And the thing is that that's the last time you see him actually take out the card. That's the last time because I was waiting for him to try to take out the card to show the Wayne guys, but he doesn't. He takes out his gun instead. And then of course,
Oh, the hospital scene had me rolling inappropriately.
What?
And with the kids and the gun falls out, I'm like, are we
Oh,
in Florida?
yeah.
I feel like we're in Florida. Everybody in Florida can relate to that scene. Let's just put it to you that way.
This is the thing. When the sign gets stolen, his boss says, I keep getting complaints about you. So in this urge to say, oh, they stole the sign. Why is everyone being so mean to him? It's like
he's had other issues, obviously.
As you see at the hospital,
Yeah, but well before the hospital, well before the sign, there's been a lot of problems with him as a clown, where he's being in some way or another inappropriate.
Yeah, but again, we're all the problems his because his one coworker gives him that gun, knowing he's not supposed to have a gun. It's like, oh, you got to protect yourself. And then when someone says something, I guess he says to the boss, oh yeah, or someone says, oh yeah, they say you were asking around for a gun when he actually wasn't.
Exactly. And yeah, well, obviously the coworker was a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But you also get the idea that Arthur is not a good man either. Arthur is definitely a person who is causing problems for himself. To quote Thomas Wayne, he's a joker.
Oh my God! But that was so Joker comedy. That scene at the apartment. When his coworkers come to see him and he kills the guy. Who gave him the gun, and then the little person's there, but he had chained the door shut. So he's like, "Yeah, you can go." And he scares him but then when he goes to get out, he's like, "Arthur, I can't reach the." And he comes over and lets him out. That's Joker comedy right there.
Well, wasn't that a shout out to Gadsworth, his original sidekick, the little guy?
Maybe.
The little person?
Oh, I didn't.
Y'all ain't real Joker fans. It's cool. It's cool.
Can I say I can't see a little person anymore without thinking of Maz Manzoor?
Hashtag private conversation.
Hashtag future comment.
But no, one of the things I actually wanted to talk about with the fact that Bruce Wayne is singing Zorro the Gay Blade. I don't know if that was meant to be a slight at Disney, because that is a Disney property, and they're saying, ha ha ha, Batman seeing Zorro the Gay Blade. It's not anything really.
Well, and Zorro's inexplicably tied to that night in a lot of reinterpretations too. So
actually, I think it only started in the '80s, believe it or not. Brian Cronin did a thing on that recently, and actually, originally they're actually in the original story they're actually leaving the opera, not the movie.
Yeah. Come on, it's 2019.
I mean,
Batman Wells doing an opera. Nobody cares.
I mean, Batman Begins. Weren't they at the opera?
No, they were actually at the Zorro. The Zorro.
Batman Begins. No.
Batman, I'm sorry, I meant Batman, the '89.
Yeah, no. The Christian Bale.
They were, yeah.
My favorite part about him getting the gun is if you listen, they're playing Everybody Plays the Fool, and I was just like, oh my God, did they really just do that? And they also have Smile, which was the trailer. I didn't think it was actually going to be in the movie, and I was like, oh my God, it's actually in the movie. No digs at Disney. Just saying it actually happened in the trailer, and they showed it in the movie. Hallelujah.
The best music cue, that again is one of these music cues that's meant to, that gets totally taken, that you don't get it because you hear it, but if you know it, you know what's going on. When he is doing the stair dance, and I don't know the name of that song. I always call it Doctor Who because there's a parody of it that goes Doctor Who, ta, Doctor Who, da 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 da. That's by Gary Glitter, who is a very famous pedophile now. So it's like that. That's the song that they have him doing his triumphant dance to. This is another guy who everyone thought was, and it's like, oh, you touch children. That's not a good thing. You are not a good man, Gary Glitter, and neither are you, Arthur Fleck. Which is why I actually think that they were trying to say Joker is not a good man. He is really, really the most evil man you're ever going to meet. And all of this love for him, it's misplaced.
I just wanted them to do the scene from the comic book. The most horrible thing he ever did was basically make baby soup and make the dad eat the soup. I was just like, dude, Todd Phillips is demented enough to do it, but he didn't. And I'm just bummed out.
All right.
Maybe for the sequel.
All right, we were talking about this before we went on, but Lilith, what Joker do you like better? The one that has the, jumps in the chemicals and has the white just tattooed on his face?
It's kind of like a toss-up. It's like, okay, 1989, throw him in a vat of chemicals. 2019, throw him into society. Either way. Either way. Same outcome.
What I say about the chemicals is it explains how the heck this guy can be at Bruce Wayne's level. Because, not for nothing, Bruce Wayne is freaking Batman. And this rando, the possibility of Wayne genes aside, is not going to be a guy that should be on Bruce Wayne.
Again, too, yeah.
Honestly, I thought the whole thing with him maybe possibly being a Wayne was a shout out to the Court of Owls storyline, but I'm just not trying to give Todd Phillips that much credit. Lincoln March.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that, I think that if nothing else, he feels they're bound. It's his kid brother.
The ending obviously made that kind of clear.
And but though again, it's one of these things where he would have no way to know that happened to Bruce. Again, to go with your unreliable narrative storyline, there's no way for him to know what happened to Bruce. It's not like they give you newspapers in art.
As it, I like the end because it's like I didn't like. Well, no, I didn't like in Batman '89 when they showed. They're like, oh yeah, Joker was the one who killed his parents. It's like, in this one, Joker was
sort of the inciting riot.
He was the catalyst for them getting killed, but he wasn't the one pulling the trigger or planning it or anything.
Looking at you.
Yeah, well, no one was planning anything.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't like the '89 version where it's it's actually Joker with the gun in his hand blowing his parents away. He's the one who set it in motion, even unintentionally.
Yeah, but you gotta love the line. Have you ever danced with the devil in the film Moonlight? It's just such a complete non sequitur, and I love that. And and that's the for me. I will forgive it just for the non sequitur. But yeah, no, I think that should be Joe Chill. I think that was Joe Chill. So we're gonna say that was Joe Chill. And I think that's fine. And actually, I tell you, the sequel is: what if the world's greatest detective had to determine if a story told to him by an unreliable narrator was true or not, when he's already stolen all the files? So the idea is you have what's his name, Pattinson, baby Pat, Batman.
Meaning, it's Bat Pat. Make it happen, people.
Pattinson.
Yeah, Bat Pat meet Joe Queen Phoenix.
I'd be here for it.
And honestly, I don't see how DC doesn't do it. I think, and as Tristan has pointed out,
standalone, and that's the reason why a lot of people are okay with it. They aren't just outright riding in the streets about it.
I was going to say the other way.
Elsewhere, not tied to anything. Otherwise,
I think the other way. Whole different story. I think the other way is to convince Joaquin.
Joking.
Well, he needs to make his own trilogy outside of the DCEU. I don't want any trace of he might be Batman's brother. I don't want that nowhere near my back.
No.
Why not? It's an unreliable narrator.
They played it. They played it too again, where it's like
with the picture and all that other stuff.
There's there's all this evidence. There's files. He's not his brother. But for the people who want to believe, they can be like, oh well, Thomas Wayne paid someone to fake those records.
Well, and then that picture with "Love Your Smile" and all that other stuff, and he's kind of a schmarmy dude. They just presented as schmarmy.
It's not signed by Thomas Wayne though.
T.
It's T something.
TW. It was absolutely TW.
I don't think it was. I thought it was TS. I don't think
TW. I will pull the screenshot for you as soon as I scrub through the movie. Okay?
Yeah, you find me a screenshot and you can show me that's a W. Because I was looking at it saying, wait, that doesn't look like a W to me. That looks like an
You
S.
nerd.
Okay. I will happily.
Now, I will give you that Penny might have been crazy enough to forge it so she could keep that in her mind, but absolutely it was a TW.
I was gonna say too. We never saw his.
I
hand
have to see if the writing is the same from the letter as the picture too. I just didn't have time to scrub through people's screenshots.
Yeah,
But that's my theory.
Truth be told, and although that was one of the things I brought up with my wife, was I was asking her if erotomatic fixation was a symptom, would you list that in the diagnosis if it was tied into a larger issue with the person who's mentally ill? And she said you would, so that they don't list erotomatic fixation as one of the reasons she was committed to Arkham is telling. Because it means that they didn't say that she had.
But it's also Arkham, so you know.
Yeah, it's Arkham, baby. Forget it, Jake. It's Arkham. Do you have something to say about the movie, Tristan?
Did you take your son to see Joker?
Yes, he did.
It's not about the movie. Leave it be.
See Joker.
It's not about the movie. Leave it be right now.
Well, it's not that terrible, actually. I don't even know why I had an R rating. Maybe I'm just like so blasé as a millennial. I don't understand why it's R rating.
Violent.
Well, no, I'll tell you. I think there was there an F-bomb in it? I think there was one F-bomb in it.
Okay, you get that in a PG-13 movie though. So
I'm thinking
violent. When they shot Murray, that was particularly. I'm desensitized. It's official.
Oh yeah, and when he kills his
I think you could have gotten away with one or the other, but not both.
and when he kills his coworker, doesn't he like stab him in the and like blood like shoots out or whatever?
That is stabbing is never. You don't get an.
Yeah, but with the blood shooting out and stuff.
Blood is blood.
Spray, baby. That's the action. As a horror fan, I should know that. That's where that's the money shot.
I think Todd Phillips wanted the art to be like it's edgy.
To be he is totally. There's some very cringe edgelord stuff in here. Like I do get those criticisms. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Because he is. Well, you know what it is, and that's what I'll say about this Joker is, you want him to be your incel messiah, but he's not.
Exactly. Like I said, the Fight Club thing. You think he's saying one thing, but really he's talking about you, not the other person that you hate.
Well, exactly. He hates and that's something he says. It's like everybody, the rich, the poor, everybody is so mean.
Why aren't people nicer?
Well, you know what? But again, not saying, not putting it in a class construct, but just everybody. Meaning
everybody sucks and everything is terrible.
Everyone who isn't the Joker deserves to die.
Oh hey.
That's what he said.
Did anybody see the box office?
Oh yeah, 93.5 million.
Yeah,
that surpassed my expectations.
Yeah,
and it's the biggest October opening.
Yeah, it beat Venom.
Okay.
Well, that's not hard to do.
Well, yeah, it was not. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, that's. You beat
Sony. Still greater than Sony. Let's not get carried away with my hate for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I know.
Still greater than Sony. Yeah. Okay.
It was Sony, yeah.
Well, but good for DC.
Excluding Spider-Verse.
But here's what I'm gonna say. I think that DC Warner should look at this as their clean slate.
I think it needs to say elsewhere tell and don't give them any ideas.
But no, why? Why is this not?
Like, I don't think that anybody wants this connected to anything.
I will disagree because I think this is, I was rewatching Annalise the Hulk recently, which I do enjoy. But Marvel walked away from it because it did very poorly, and I don't blame them for that. They leave hints at it, but it's really non-canonical. I think this film could be very canonical. I think that there's nothing in this story that takes away from anything in the Batman lore or in any other Justice League character's lore. And not for nothing, the other stuff is in the Letoverse. As Tristan pointed out recently, you know what universe you're in by who your Joker is. You have your Ledgerverse, your Letoverse, and now your Joaquin-verse. And and for what it's worth, Justice League is unfortunately in the Letoverse, as is Birds of Prey. Because you look at the pictures of Joker in Birds of Prey, and that is definitely Leto.
Yeah, but I don't think Leto's
Leto.
coming back. I don't think they're.
Yeah, Leto is not.
I
Yeah,
don't think
that's
they're
the
letting
last
Leto
It'll
on the
one.
line.
be that character. It'll be that Joker. Even if it's not played by
Which,
Jared Leto.
spoilers, I'm pretty sure he actually dies in Birds of Prey.
Okay, so
Oh, that's fine. But that's well.
Nobody's
Actually,
fine for Leto.
arguably, he has already died in Justice League. Maybe that's why they broke up.
all right, so
That made me Superman. He's like green-haired guy.
so does this movie should they learn from this movie? Should they
I think it's cool that it's an Elseworld tale and that everything should be
that's
a
what I'm
one-off.
saying.
and
Should they
nothing
should,
needs
at
to
least for next couple of years, should they do smaller self-contained stories, and then once they build up
Yes.
public confidence, then maybe
trust.
try to universe build?
No.
Yeah.
No. They should try to build off of their successes and ignore their failures.
They tried. They didn't have any successes.
They had Shazam.
Well, Wonder Woman and Shazam would like to have a word with you, first of all, and arguably Aquaman.
Yeah, but by the time
it's still in that Snyderverse,
Yeah.
which nobody
but
wants.
by the time we
But it doesn't.
got to Shazam, we had Batman v Superman, we had Justice League. Those were weighing that.
And Shazam is actually not technically in that universe, kind of, sort of.
Exactly. And but here's the thing. You can have Shazam in the Jokinaverse. If
Don't want Shazam in the Jokinaverse.
it's a Jokinaverse.
No. It's empty. It's hollow and shallow. There, I said it. I don't want it.
But you can have different thematic films in the same universe, just like there are different lives in a real universe. Shazam.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has a different life, Lilith. You're not the only real person.
All of you are NPCs. Change my mind.
Let
let me get Chidi in here. Have you seen the most recent episode of The Good Place? Chidi really
Yes.
works. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I love Chidi.
I saw it. No, it's not. That's the second to last one. I was gonna say the time knife. That's just my favorite episode.
Oh, that was 3 episodes ago. That was last season, Lilith. Come on.
Sorry.
Don't look at the timeline. Don't look at the timeline.
Poor Phil.
Oh, no.
Anyway, no. Okay, I have a question.
He wants to live in the dot, so.
I have a question. This is what's driving everybody crazy. So it's a lot of people don't like the fact that everything that happens to Joker is kind of random or incidental or accidental, and it's just it's just pure chaos that leads him to his position, whereas opposed to they wanted to be less that. I think it's okay that everything kind of just happened chance, because it leads to that theme of one bad day. I think that's what Todd Phillips was actually going for. Was more of that Killing Joke vibe.
I think it's just a giant coincidence that he had something inside him, and then the chaos of the city. It's just that chemical, that had the city not been as bad, or if his condition hadn't been.
If they would have just picked up the trash. Look,
Which
listen,
is bad
sanitation is the number one reason
Super
for
rats.
society.
Super rats.
Oh, Ratcatcher! I was waiting on Ratcatcher,
Yeah.
bro.
This is Joker's movie. We'll get other guys in the next movie.
Where they said
No,
Now, I would be okay with Todd Phillips doing individual elsewhere origin tales for everybody, like Lex Luthor and Poison Ivy and stuff like that. Harvey Dent especially, but
Well,
and it be in this universe, but away from everything else.
there was
I'd be fine with that.
There was a great suggestion by Grace Randolph that in the sequel, you should have Lex Luthor come in to sort of be a friend of the Waynes and to help along young Bruce as he's dealing with the loss of his parents and this immense wealth he suddenly inherited. And actually wanted that Breaking Bad guy, Malcolm's father.
Bryan Cranston?
Bryan Cranston, yes. Bryan
What a-
Cranston. And
what a-
that's Grace Randolph's idea. I'm not going to say it's a bad
To be serious though, that could actually happen because WB has been wanting Bryan Cranston to do something in their superhero universe for a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't know why they chose Kevin Spacey over Bryan Cranston. I literally don't know why. I would
Wait
have
a
to
minute.
really
Wait
ask
a minute.
someone,
You want to
but-
do a movie like this and make it topical? Bryan Cranston is Lex Luthor running for president.
Well, yeah, there we go. I mean, with
Or he just starts as mayor of Gotham. He moves to Gotham and becomes mayor.
The mayor of Metropolis.
Exactly.
Oh, well, you know what? Well, but I'll tell you something. You have that is your story. There is young Bruce Wayne, who actually had a relationship with Lex Luthor, has to deal with Lex Luthor running for president when he has come to understand that this guy who was another surrogate father in his life is not as good as he.
Batman versus Lex movie. Make it happen. Give us a good Lex this time.
Batman versus Lex. Yeah, that's the thing. Lex is a much better villain for Batman than Bruce Wayne.
Seriously, I mean, they're both like, they're
not Batman, but
they're both mortal
Superman.
human. Yeah.
Well, I've always thought that Penguin was his ultimate. Like, that is definitely his Dark Mirror villain.
Yeah, because they both come from money. Yeah.
Well, I was listening to one reviewer, and he was actually saying, I don't know why Joaquin Phoenix sounds so much like the Penguin.
Why it's Joaquin. What is wrong with y'all?
That's not me. That's him.
It's a gotta Jack. Call him Joaquin.
I know, but it's like a Spanish name. Like, so just don't.
Joaquin.
Is he Spanish?
No, but it is a Spanish name, so if you could just pronounce it correctly. It just bothers me. I'm sorry.
And I like it just because I always called him Joaquin now he's the Joker. So Joaquin is the Joker. To me, it's symmetry, but yeah. No, but it is Joaquin. I do know it is Joaquin.
All right, Lilith.
I didn't want to call it the
Out of
Joaquin.
respect for River, you respect that man's name.
Lilith,
Do I have to respect River now? Okay.
Lilith, behind the scenes stuff. Did he lose weight for this part? Because
he wanted this Joker to be fat, and Todd Phillips said, "Haha, no, we're gonna do a Christian Bale from The Machinist, and you're gonna lose all this weight."
I mean,
Oscar.
I mean, just him.
Oscar.
The scenes with those shirts on were just
brutal.
I mean, you could see ribs.
Uncomfortable.
You could see ribs.
Yeah.
He put in the work. There's no denying Joaquin Phoenix put in the work.
To be fair, the Joker is a very svelte character.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really.
He also alluded to the fact that the medication didn't give him and made him not have an appetite.
Okay.
I mean, he was on 7 different medications,
which is a common side effect, But
also diarrhea and constipation and things like that. Yeah.
All sorts of bad things. He is taking 7 medications, which actually says that if you're taking 7 medications and you want to up the dose, it's like maybe you really need a different mode of treatment. Because, and for what it's worth, I think that's really the tale of this, is that he is a victim of deinstitutionalization. But, that we are in the situation where the only way you get institutionalized nowadays is if you actually commit a crime.
Yeah. And the guy even says in there, he's like, it's safer for you guys in here than it is out there.
Yeah.
Well, he's not wrong in this case.
Oh, yeah. Look what happened on the train.
Yeah. Well, he is so evil, though. And they want him to be sympathetic, but he is not in any way.
Well, I saw.
A lot of people would like to disagree with you on the forum.
They should watch the movie then. Because if you think he's sympathetic,
I did see a review of this movie, and before I even saw it, and the reviewer was like, "There are no sympathetic figures in this movie."
Yes, that's how I feel. I like a movie like that every now and then.
Yeah, I mean,
I like an anti-hero, but Joker is not an anti-hero.
What I'm going to say is, it's not a question of there's no sympathetic characters. It's that the Joker is so vile as a human being.
Oh, yeah.
And he is vile as a human being. This is the thing. It's like I said this in Super Connectivity. It's like if you want to watch Max, no matter how much you want to say, but maybe there's a way that Hitler wasn't the worst person ever. It's like, no, he's still Hitler. We know how the story ends, and there's all these
He's just a tragic art student, homie. Don't you know that?
No. You know what? But this is what I said. And I think I've already said this. If he didn't go after the fat guy, if he had let the fat guy escape.
I think Charlie just took that way too personally.
I'm not going to say I didn't take it personally, but I am going to say there is a limitation on your right to use force, and he is very clearly delighting in everybody else using force. When the cops are coming in and the guy gets accidentally shot, and all of the rioters attack the cops. Which of course again is this other wonderful little right-wing meme of oh, the cops have such a dangerous job kind of story. But usually and they've actually did that twice, because you also see the one cop get attacked by the crowd earlier at the opera, or at the opera house, where they're showing the Chaplin film.
The modern times. That's like, yeah, late stage capitalism at its finest. Another one of those moments.
Although again,
That's
this is
great.
one of the things. This is something, and again, these are these little symbols throughout the thing. The Joker is originally a hobo clown, although he doesn't have hobo clown makeup, which is also an interesting little aspect of it. You see that his clown costume clearly has patches, so he's trying to, essentially what it is he's trying to say, "Oh, I'm authentic like you." He's a hipster. He's trying to say, "I'm an authentic hobo clown like other hobo clowns," but he doesn't do what is typical for hobo clowns, like actually Heath Ledger's hobo clown mask does, where you have a muzzle. He doesn't have a muzzle. He has his perfect little serial killer clown makeup.
He's an aspiring stand-up.
I mean, there's nothing greater than Cesar Romero just painting over his mustache, though. Like that is my jam.
That's Charlie Up would do.
It was better than when Superman painted over his mustache. So.
But he paints his tongue too, and I'm just like, is he trying to get high, or like, what's going on here?
That is actually an implication of other chemical poisoning. Like, you can have lead-based grease paints. Obviously, you don't use those nowadays. But the actual ingestion.
But it was the 80s.
Even in the 80s, they'd stop
still have
lead.
some laying around in the basement. Trust me.
I mean, that is true.
It's Gotham.
Yeah, they're about 10 years behind on OSHA. All Gotham needs, I totally believe that theory now, is a little bit of OSHA coming through. Put some safety rails up so people aren't falling in chemical baths.
Yeah, the problem is when you live in a superpowered universe, people aren't as afraid of people falling in the bath anymore.
It'll either kill them or turn them into a superhero or a supervillain. No big.
Exactly. People are like willing to take that risk. It's like playing the lotto. It's like, well, if I fall into the radiation, I'll probably die. But
if I don't
die, it'll make me stronger. That's not how radiation works. That's not how any of this works. But if you tell people it's a possibility, and then you have someone actually have it work out for them, it's lottery. Dollar in a dream. Love you, future. I love you, future.
All right, so I think. What did everyone think of De Niro's Murray Franklin, the man who comes up with the name?
De Niro has been playing the same effing character his whole career. I love Bobby D. Don't get me wrong, but it's the same damn character.
Well, he plays.
He's loud and angry. Okay.
He's either a gangster or.
There are two kinds of actors, Laura. There are actors who play a different character every time, and there's actors who play one character.
You're wrong, and then there's
time.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken plays one character. He plays Christopher Walken. Now, maybe he's nice guy Christopher Walken, or he's bad guy Christopher Walken. He's a Christopher Walken who's endured a million different lives, but he's always Christopher Walken. He's not going to stop being Christopher Walken just for you. Edward Norton becomes a completely different character every time he picks up a script, because he says, if I'm this character, I'm going to be a very different man than I am. But guys like Christopher Walken, guys like Robert De Niro, they say it doesn't matter who I am so long as I read the lines right and I convey the emotions the character's having at that moment. So I like Robert De Niro in this. And again, lots of love for King of Comedy in this. And I do feel that this is kind of a sequel to King of Comedy after Robert De Niro killed the Jerry Lewis, then he took over the show.
He became the
that's my headcanon. But
But yeah, he was so supposed to be Johnny Carson. I just got the Johnny Carson vibe.
Well, yeah, he was the tastemaker for comedians.
Oh yeah,
absolutely, Johnny Carson.
Come sit on the couch.
Pat, pat, pat.
Okay, what do you want to say about the Joker?
He even kisses the lady like in Dark Knight. I love it.
Oh.
The Dark Knight. Well, the Frank Miller comic.
Yeah.
One second, Tristan has a statement about the movie. Come here, Tristan, so they can hear you. Yeah. Okay. Come on, Tristan. Okay. Okay, come in.
Anyway, so what I noticed is that there's a few Jokers who had like abusive fathers, but in this Joker, the only close thing we had to like Joker's father was the boyfriend we never saw.
Oh yeah, the boyfriend that we never saw.
So that might be so this Joker might not be Dark Knight Joker. Dark Knight Joker said his father was a janitor.
That's an interesting point. So yeah, Tristan was thinking that this could be the Joker, the Heath Ledger Joker, sort of uniting the Ledgerverse and
everybody's saying that that's little baby Batfleck because the Excalibur was the movie that he was seeing, and when we see his parents die in Batman versus Superman, so they're saying that's actually young, the one from
was Excalibur the film in this? Or I don't remember what was above Gabriel.
Yeah, it was Excalibur. They're saying I don't want to rewatch that movie to make sure that it was actually Excalibur that they were going to see or whatever, but that's what people were saying.
They were seeing Zorro the Gay Blade because they're taking their kid to it. You don't take a kid to see Excalibur.
I'm just saying it was the movie poster in the back, and there was also one in the back for Batman versus Superman. So.
I know, but like I said, what I'm saying is that you don't. He was there seeing Zorro the Gay Blade, which of course is about two brothers, one who wears black and is dark and brooding, one who wears purple and is very flamboyant, who both of whom are fighting to protect the weak and the innocent of where they of their town. So it does have a nice dichotomy. But again, the difference is that whereas in Gay Blade, our flamboyant Zorro is actually a real dynamic hero who actually cares about people and is not just in it for himself. In Gay Blade, yes, he is 100% a hero. He is every bit the hero because it's George Hamilton in both roles, and he is every bit the hero. It's his brother, and it's such a Disney film. It is very progressive, and we're all friends and brothers in this world. Because when his purple brother shows up and is fighting at the end, and there's two Zorros, and he says to his suffragette girlfriend, well, you're always saying there's room in this world for everyone. Isn't there room enough for two Zorros? Even if one is, a gay blade. It's really good. And let me just say, as a loud, boisterous guy who liked purple as a young man too, that's the kind of film that made me feel seen. So maybe it's not perfect, but I will say that it made me feel seen. Because sometimes you'll want to be seen, even if it's not the best way to be seen. But but I just thought it was great and a good way to show that dichotomy, and the fact that again they're brothers, but or maybe they're not. I just thought it was a very telling choice.
That is one hell of an age gap.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why you have to drop them in the chemicals eventually. So yeah, you need those chemicals, man. You're not going to be running with Batman when you're in your 60s,
And two, the chemicals might have that into his skin, so that's how he could take all those punches.
Well, I mean, the chemical stuff, and he's already eaten the paint, so he's doing the low
dose of lead.
Oh my lord! I'm just waiting for a Batman story now where Batman just punching him, and Joker's like, I can't help it. I ate paint chips as a kid.
It'll happen. We're gonna vote on this continuity in about 6 months, Philip. Mark my word. I heard the kids would like the Joker movie.
The fans are going to decide this just like we're going to decide if 3 Jokers is in continuity or not.
They're like, make it 4 Jokers. Wait.
Hey, you know what? I don't know. The biggest problem with 3 Jokers is just that's how is there not a follow-up?
That they've been promising for 3 years.
How is it? Okay, now thanks for the information. Let me do some more research then. No, the entire reason he sat in the dang chair was to get this information. And
unreliable chairnator.
Yeah, the chair should not be the Oracle at Delphi. It's like it should be. I need to know something. Here's an answer. This is the exact answer you wanted based on because it's not like the chair speaks English. It's like reading your brain waves. It's like, okay, this is knowledge you want. Here's knowledge you need. You
It's like
know?
the gin. You have to be very specific.
It shouldn't be. It's a freaking magic chair. You know.
Magic comes with a cost.
Did the chair say you're supposed to be the world's greatest detective? You don't know this by now?
Figure it
Okay,
out.
here's a clue. There's 3 of them. Bye.
Get off of me.
Yeah.
How many times
You don't belong here, Batman.
that?
And one more, but we don't know who that one's going to be yet.
It's gonna be this one. Fine.
How many times has Lilith said that? There's 3 Jokers. Get off me.
And to be fair, it's like, your brain's about to melt in 5 minutes anyway, Bruce, because you're immortal. This is a chair built for God.
I just love the joke. It's like Avengers, and there's like Hawkeye with all the gods, and then there's Batman. They don't know I'm not a god.
But but actually, and again, with Avengers, just the idea that Thor says, if you held this hammer, your brain would melt. It's like Bruce is trying not to let his brain melt. So it's like, I'd like to explain this to you, but honestly, the most I can get into your little 8 brain is there are 3 Jokers. Okay, and like, that's the best I can give your level of understanding things. Basic. He is basic. Bruce Wayne. Yeah. But no, I don't
Charlie
think Thomas
Esser?
Wayne comes off as, yeah. I don't think Thomas Wayne comes off as bad as everyone says he does in this.
No.
If you listen to
It's
his
just
entire
the actors. It's the actor's air about him that makes it just like a schmarmy air of douchebaggery.
Well, I think on
He's
some
he's
level,
running for mayor of Gotham. You just know there's something wrong with him.
he cares about Gotham.
Yeah, when you turn it around.
For his own interest. For his own interest. He's gonna let his wife and all his other family members do stuff they're not supposed to do.
Actually, no. Here's what I'll say. There is a cyclical problem with wealth in cities, which is essentially that if you revitalize the city, you're going to increase the rents in the city, which is going to drive out the city. Exactly. And it's like there's no easy answer to it. And that's like the real complexity of life, is that there isn't really an easy answer to this question. How do you save the city without destroying the city? Lilith fixes
Well, I kind of like Roz's idea. Just blow it up. Start over. Who cares?
Well, but except that doesn't actually solve the problem either. It's like, oh, we'll blow up the city. Well, okay, that doesn't fix it. It just removes people's, it doesn't solve the problem. Yeah, you kill all the people, and then
remember, I'm one bad day away from being a supervillain, so I could care less if somebody blew up the city.
But here's the thing: you blow up the city, you know what happens? Wayne International comes in, removes the rubble, builds luxury condos. Here you go, Gotham shiny and new again. No
man's land.
Yeah,
perfect.
Doesn't solve the problem.
And then all the poor people can go move out to the country and grow their own damn food. There you go.
Well, they're all dead now anyway, so that's the thing. It's like that idea doesn't work because you just killed everybody. Just killing everybody doesn't work.
The poor move to Bloodhaven.
Or the Glades.
Well, that's
the River Rouge of Gotham City. The city just south of Detroit that has all the problems of Detroit, but not the financial base of Detroit. So, places worse than Detroit. Yeah. Anyone who's ever lived near a city knows that there are places that are worse than the city.
So, anything else we didn't hit on?
Jersey.
Oh!
I can't because I love.
Well, no, but it's like, for example, if you live in Newark, like everyone gets freaked out about Newark. It's like, dude, you have no idea that there are cities so much worse than Newark because it doesn't have the base in Newark. East Orange. Oh, wait till they get a load of me.
I was gonna say. I was wondering who was gonna say it.
Well, wait till you get a load of me. That is the best Joker line. That's what I'll say. It's like nothing else. Nicholson had all the best Joker lines. You get what you deserve is not a good Joker.
Oh, people are clinging to that. Let me tell you.
I know they are, but it doesn't make sense.
We're gonna see their hot topic in about a month.
What the Joaquin
No,
Phoenix?
no, sorry, Forever 21 is when it went out of
You
business.
get what you deserve, yeah.
My topic spent like 6 more months.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be something out for Halloween. Come on.
Oh, you're true.
Oh
that.
man, it is so
Oh,
hard finding.
see when Suicide Squad came out, you saw how many Harley Quinns on at Halloween and stuff, and at cons. Oh, now it's gonna be all Jokers, Joaquin Jokers.
No, they don't have Joaquin Jokers. We went looking today. It's all the best you can do is you can get a Heath Ledger
Real
Joker.
cosplayers are making that. They've been
Well,
making that costume since the first trailer, homie. Real
And I was
cosplayers.
gonna say, with the face, all you need is paint. Get the paint.
Well,
A little green
that's a
wig, you're good to
specific jacket.
go.
That's a specific jacket. It's hard to find a plum jacket. Trust me, I've looked. Especially a children's size.
Who's letting their kid dress as Joaquin Phoenix's Joker?
Charlie Esser.
Yeah, my child.
Charlie, the Professor Esser.
Yeah, my child is very interested in.
The same man.
It's
who
called
took
Make Your Own, homie.
Lilith,
Like,
the same man
The
who took
original
his kid
idea
to
was
see
he wanted to
Joaquin
do Red
Phoenix
Hood, but I
Joker.
couldn't find the pieces for the Red Hood costume. Because he wanted to do like original Joker Red Hood, which I thought would be easy because it's like, okay, it's a tuxedo and a red cape and a metallic red mask, which I had seen last year, but they don't have them this year. But he just did find one on Etsy, so that's what we're looking for now. But he also wants to do Joker makeup underneath the red mask, but I think that's just too much. That's a level 2. Well, I just don't think it's gonna. Like I said, you can't wear it to school.
I thought he had
That's the whole
green
thing.
screen. I thought he had green screen Batman. Why he wants another costume?
Well, we had a whole
spoiled
conversation about
kids
that.
today, Philip, I tell you.
This Charlie Esser just throwing money around their costumes, and some of us aren't as rich as the Charlie Essers.
I am.
I came back and bit you in the butt. Didn't I?
Anyway, no, it's okay. No, the green screen. This green screen. First off, the Batman stuff was just for Batman Day. He might do a Joker. He really liked the film. Like I said, I mean, he really felt it was good. I mean, it's a really good Joker origin. Probably one of the best Joker origins I've ever seen. Or read. Honestly, this makes the One Bad Day Joker origin look really stupid. Because that's the one where his like wife is pregnant and she dies, and he's the one where it's like, oh, it only took one bad day. It's like, dude, it doesn't take one bad day. It takes a lifetime of being ground under your own mental illness before you snap. You kind of like One Bad Day? I'd like to think that no matter how bad my day got, I wouldn't snap. Because I've had so much joy prior to that. I think that would be a bad.
But maybe he
statement for
didn't
all
have so much joy prior to that.
Well, but then it's not one bad day. It's a lot of bad days. That's the thing. It's, like,
What
it's a lot of bad days.
Very bad, no good day. Fine.
I'm not
On top of a life of mediocre days.
Well, it's a life of bad days, and then one day something pushes you over the edge, and that's fair. It's like I really like the thing they did in this season of The Punisher, where they said, "Hey, what if Harley was actually pretty nuts before she met the Joker?" And it's not just, "Oh, the Joker turned her into Harley." It's like, no, she was Harley the minute she's been Harley for years, and the Joker just said, "Hey, why don't you put on a costume too?" She said, "Hey, that sounds great." That's a much better origin of Harley Quinn than I was tortured by the Joker, and now I'm obsessed.
Wasn't Harley half nuts before she met the Joker? Because doesn't she come from Jersey?
Does she come from Jersey?
She has the accent.
Well, are we going with the original Arlene, or are we going with Tara? Because it's slightly different.
Okay. I think I'm working with Harleen Quinzel, the doctor who worked with the Joker in Arkham.
The voice actress, you guys know there were two different.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
you're talking about
for the animated series. Yeah.
I'm talking about the actual character.
Lilith.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that have been the Joker, but Mark Hamill's still the best, and Tara Strong is still, Tara Strong is Harley, and Charlie Coco will be okay, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's coming Thanksgiving weekend.
But what I want from Harley isn't who voices her. I want it to be a compelling story, and I want it to be a believable story. And it's not a believable story to say, "Oh, one bad day and we're all It's like, no, a lifetime of bad days and you go nuts. You don't go nuts on Wednesday, just because Wednesday was a bad day. It's like you go nuts because you've been nuts, and this is just how your nuts is going to be manifesting itself in the current climate, if you will.
This
So,
movie
yeah.
was also a little too long for me too.
What, the movie?
Yeah.
It was only
Like it
2
just
hours.
felt like I know it just kind of like plot for me for some reason. Like, I struggled to stay awake. I'm not even gonna lie.
Because there wasn't. I mean, he really wasn't the Joker until what, like the last half hour, maybe.
30 minutes,
Yeah, and again, like I said, I think that
out that whole stuff was just it was like a lot of stuff that was just like kind
Well,
of
that's even creepier too when you realize he was adopted and that wasn't like his birth mother.
Or was it? Dun, dun, dun.
well, like I said, what really worked for me, and for what it's worth, there's lots of stories about people who give birth and then adopt their own child because to avoid the scandal. So yeah, I mean, there's lots there.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you get to that point with
She did sign
with
papers.
with the Joker in the room with his mom being interviewed, it's like really, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I can't remember what that movie was.
But I did like the adopted angle just because I don't like a definitive origin for the Joker. So it's like, okay, he was adopted at some point, but before he was adopted, we don't know where he came from. So
exactly. So he only had Joker to cling to. I get it.
So Arthur Fleck isn't even his probably his real name. I mean, it was him after he was adopted, but
you know what? That's what the Wings did with Martha and Alfred's love child.
What? It's Arthur Fleck.
No, it's actually Bruce. Yeah, okay. See, they should have made him the same age. He should have been so old, and then we could play a little switcheroo. We could get good omens.
Again, this is the Gotham problem. This is the Gotham problem. There you go, Rob. That the villains are so much older than Batman.
Yeah. Well, at least Batman.
That's only when Tatos was watching. Was he just binge watched Gotham, read a couple of comic books, jumped on the phone, was like, all right, I'm gonna write a script. I had this Taxi Driver King comedy hybrid in mind. I'm just gonna jam this in there.
Well, what did say here? What did say here? I mean, if there was one comic that was the inspiration, it said Batman: The Killing Joke.
Yeah, obviously.
Charlie Alan Moore.
I don't see how. I mean, maybe he says it just because
it's the simmer of things constantly going bad for him.
Because it's the closest thing to an origin story for the Joker.
It's multiple choice because he's unreliable.
Yeah, he's an unreliable narrator.
And then the joke at the end, of course, I get that, I guess.
The flashlight thing.
No, where the therapist says, I'm talking about the end of the movie. It's kind of like, that was an allusion to that, I think. He's like, it's a joke between him and I.
Yeah. Yes. You know what's weird is I actually didn't hear that line in it. So I was waiting for it because I heard it. And I knew that it was supposed to be in there, but I missed it. Was Bradley Cooper in this?
No, he was like a producer, I think it said.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
Yeah, because, again, Tatos is the guy that did Hangover. He probably needed some extra money. And he knows Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley was a producer on this, yeah.
The guy in the bathroom afterwards asked me hey, did you see Bradley Cooper in this? It's like, oh, I didn't know he was in this.
And you're like, dude, I'm in my hand.
He's not Brad Pitt in the same Deadpool, okay?
But so good to have the dancer. If I ever see that guy again, I'll let him know.
If you see him in the bathroom again.
Okay. So, anything else to say about this one?
All right.
Solid C plus for me.
I was gonna say grade, so C plus for Lilith Hellfire. Charlie.
I'll give it a gentleman's A. It's a deep.
Go home, you're drunk.
That sounds dirty, gentleman's A.
Well, it's like I'm not gonna tear into it because it was a good film. I mean, is it derivative? Does it rhyme with a lot of stuff that's been done before that's better? Maybe. But at the same time, I thought they handled everything well.
He's like, for a WB/DC flick, it's an A. I'm grading on a steep curve here.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a gentleman's A. It's like, you know what? They did a good job.
It's a DC movie.
I want to encourage this. I want to encourage them to do more things that pushes the box, that questions what a good superhero film should be. And yeah, I'll give the gentleman's A. I got no problem with that.
All right, of course, I go middle of the road between you two. B minus.
Way to play it safe, Philip.
I am the birth control of our podcast.
That's exactly why Philip should be in charge of DC. You can't. You don't make it. You don't become a rock star playing it safe.
He's Gelman. It's fine. It's what he does.
No, that's honestly how I feel. Like, and again, like I said, I like the movie better than Lilith, and I mean, I think you enjoyed it more than I did. So of course, my grade's gonna come
We
in.
called that a long time ago, though, didn't we? I feel like we called it.
What? Yeah.
I actually thought I was going to hate it. I'll be honest with you. I really thought I was going to hate this film, and I was going in ready to hate it. But and again, like I said, because I studied beforehand, because I got
You really shouldn't, though.
And Lilith,
you should, because it helps you understand the film more.
and Lilith, do you think?
Afterwards, and then
Lilith, do you
No,
think?
because now you're going to know what to listen for. It's not like everyone has a bootleg copy in their house that they can go back and re-rock.
Besides Lilith,
Some of us have to pay money every time we see this.
but I mean, Lilith, do you think Charlie enjoyed this more because he's not
There's
as big
no
a fan
attachment.
of the source materials we are?
yeah, probably.
Because Charlie can come at it with fresher eyes.
Yeah, and
I mean, yeah,
I
yeah,
honestly
Charlie,
don't like it because it's a
Charlie, I
defensive
know
out.
you've probably seen every Batman movie. You watch Gotham, but you haven't read as many Joker in the comics that we have. Yeah.
No, that's true. I mean, yeah, I've not deep dived into the Joker. It's because honestly, part of this I've always felt he was kind of a one-note character. That's the thing. If you have a character without an origin, it's kind of one note. It's like, oh, he's crazy, and he's crazy, and he blows any copyrights fish. I mean, there's a lot of stories for the Joker that are not his best, and but what is his primary motivation? This gives the Joker a really good primary motivation.
I mean, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I mean, it got a standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival. Really?
Well, see, that's the thing about like Venice and France. Like they just have this different take than Americans do. And like I said, a lot of that was paid for.
Jerry Lewis.
A lot of that was paid for. All the good. I feel like a lot of the good stuff was paid for. I make no bones about that. They paid for a lot of good critiques.
That either, but I will tell you that movie people are different than regular people, and the people who go to film festivals tend to be movie people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
was fun for Joaquin Phoenix, to be in all honesty. Maybe not the movie as a whole, but Joaquin Phoenix's performance is probably what they were applauding for.
Oh yeah, it was a room full of people who didn't know who or what the Joker was.
and but you know what? If they know, which a lot of European audiences probably do, that if they know The Man Who Laughs,
yeah,
they're gonna say, "Oh, this is a version of The Man Who Laughs." It's a great Victor Hugo story.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There wasn't a comic book person in that room.
Well, not necessarily.
Like I told you, this was a comic book movie for people who are not comic book people, and I just
Yes,
whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean,
and I love a good art house film. I love indie films, but just don't mix the genres. Like I don't like that. Keep your peanut butter out of my chocolate.
there's my drop.
Chocolate and peanut butter is the best flavor in the world.
Yeah, Lilith.
Disgusting.
Yeah, Lilith, you communist.
It's not about being communist. It's about just knowing what tastes good.
Yeah,
If you don't
Lilith.
think together tastes good. Now, if you're allergic to peanut butter or peanuts, I get it. But peanut butter is salty sweet with the chocolate, which is bittersweet. That is literally all the flavors. That is all the flavors.
Lilith is
Eat a damn Swedish fish or a junior mint. Get a real damn snack.
Swedish fish? That is like the most. Don't even get me started. They're not even gummies.
White meat nerd.
They're bad for you.
One big sugar bomb. Yes.
Turkish delight without the delight is what freaking.
Well, first of all, Turkish delight is disgusting.
between lack of sleep and alcohol. How do you think Lilith Hellfire stays conscious every day?
Sugar bombs. Sugar bombs and Bang. Philip, it's a drink.
Hey, this is a family show. Hey.
would rather, for what it's worth, I did drink two purple monsters today. So, well, two, 1.5, because Tristan drank the other half. But
just two young men rolling around town, seeing Joker movies and drinking energy drinks.
that sounds like happiness to me.
Oh, are you branding? You drank two purple monsters to go see Joker?
Well, technically they're called ultraviolets. But yeah, but anyway, they're good. And that's,
We go by
like,
color. It's fine.
I like the purple. I like the orange. I love the black cherry one, flavored from Traverse City, Michigan.
This podcast is not sponsored by Monster, but if they would like to sponsor, we're more than welcome to take your money.
Yes.
I'm not drinking alcohol. I try to drink a lot of caffeine. So anyway,
Poor liver.
All right, are we done?
Yes, shameless plugs.
All right, everyone, send us your thoughts on the Joker movie. We can read them here next week, and stay tuned. You're going to be hearing me and Lilith will be talking Arrowverse shows in a few days, and go check out Batwoman. So email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Call our voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And you can find all of our links at Linktree, which is linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. Shut up, Lil. So yes, you can find all of our links for all of our various shows at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. All right, Lil Hellfire, do it perfectly. Come on.
If you nerds want to live tweet with me, because the Arrowverse is back, baby, you can find me on Twitter at Lil Hellfire. And also, if you are into me magic, follow me at Lil Hellfire69 over on Instagram. I lost my nipple for nothing.
All right, let's hear the
Gotta
magic.
clean those piercings, people.
well, if you would like to write to me in an old-fashioned email, way the way Thomas and Martha Wayne once did back in the 80s, you can do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitters, as I do not live tweet Batwoman tonight because I cannot get the CW on my TV. At Shirley Answer. CHARLIE. Yes, that's right. Look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality.
Bing!
Margie. I miss the Moz. All right, everyone. Hopefully you saw and liked the Joker movie. Anyway, for another week, we have been the Capes.
Lunatics!
Oh, Joker. Lilith, you did that too well.
As I told Miles, I have a lot in common with the many incarnations of Joker.
You and your 7-minute case.
Yeah, vodka, cognac,
Well,
tequila.
oh, guess what Danielle was drinking last night at the wedding?
Coconut Manischewitz.
No. Well, what were you guys drinking that weekend?
Yeah, rum and cranberry.
Yep.
Good for her.
Lil's Hellfire. Major bad influence.
Of course.